Here is the information regarding Rachel Zegler's, the actress who triggered the most recent drama. Her Snow White caused quite a sensation. Comments are now entering Ava's space. The shoes worn by Perron and Jamie Lloyd's next. At the London Palladium, Evita's revival. The production is slated to begin at June 2025 through the beginning of September, although already controversy is engulfing it. Before the drapes were even drawn, if you missed the events involving Snow White's Zegler, spent the entire press tour in effect, disparaging the first Disney classic. She ridiculed the prince by calling him a stalker, notion of first-sight love, and tended to act as though she was too advanced for the fairy tale that the internet has been loved by generations. Didn't appreciate this mindset, and her videos went popular for the wrong reasons. Reasons why they weren't being shared. Because they adored her words, had made fun of her TikTok influencers. A field day filled with snarky remarks and eye rolls. Voiceovers, she effectively took on the role of antagonist in what ought to have been her major Snow White's breakthrough moment. Due to rumors, the remake continued getting delayed. That Disney was frantically attempting to, after all the criticism, fix it. What should have been a victorious, a Disney princess scene became a publicity stunt. Dread that the studio was unable to eventually shake off the film. Released and supposedly cost around, depending on who makes it, $170 million. You inquire, yet did a poor job at the lowest opening at the box office of any. A live-action Disney film is on the horizon. $50 million for both viewers and critics. Some reviews criticized it, pointing out that the film's main identity crises, while some were critical of the choice to swap out the seven dwarfs with supernatural entities that many people perceived as a representation of racing instead of improving it. The movie is now at IMDb gave it a terrible 2 out of 10, with viewers are calling it generic and terrible, and playing pointless musical numbers that are utterly horrible. So you'd think that with all this baggage, Rachel Zegler might back down and choose to recreate her in a less prominent role. Repute, but no, she ended up landing one of the most sought-after musical theaters and famous parts played by Eva Perron in Evita. When Jamie Lloyd revealed that she was casting the internet nearly blew up once more. A small number of ardent supporters praised the choice as daring and novel, although the majority of responses varied from incredulity to blatant rage in the theater. Traditionalists were especially not just any musical incensed. A position requiring emotional development, self-control, and indisputable charm. Some questioned if Zegler was even enjoyed the original content, or if she was merely preparing to rewrite this timeless. Industry insiders also began. This raised doubts about Lloyd's intentions regarding skill, or merely a marketing gimmick. The criticism hasn't only come from noise on social media that is having an impact. Reports on real-world outcomes also show that Evita's ticket sales are still being severely strained. Weeks prior to opening night, unsold premium boxes, premiere weekend seats, and all empty seats for such a performance at the storied London Palladium, which is not only is it frustrating, but it could. Blogs about disastrous theater are already referring to audiences as the Zegler effect, are not avoiding it due of the music, the location, or the artistic group there. Doubtful, especially due to her. According to leaks from the box office, early discounts are being discussed by producers, as well as coupons to fill seats, which is practically unprecedented for a production of this size with a recognized director as Jamie Lloyd. And now complicating, worse allegations are circulating regarding hints of drama behind the scenes from suggests that the London theater scene that Lloyd is so close to severing connections with Zegler because of her purported conduct during the rehearsal process. According to sources, she frequently arrives late and asks Lloyd's guidance before everyone, and even left the set afterwards. Disagreements on scene blocking was intended to be cooperative. The creative process is said to have evolved into a battleground. A number of the cast members are purportedly supporting Lloyd, with some purportedly claiming that Zegler stage time is monopolized and goes off script during practice sessions and declines to When performing musical songs, harmonize unless she is the center of attention. It seems that tension got to the point where last week's boiling point that Lloyd held a meeting with producers behind closed doors. With legal counsel, it is said that her agreement is being examined and a replacement is being contemplated in private. In the event that she must be pulled earlier, the timing of the opening night couldn't be. For Zegler, this Evita part was even worse. Intended to be her story of redemption, opportunity to display her skills on the renowned West End stage and demonstrate that she was capable of carrying an famous part in spite of the Snow White dispute. Rather, it's becoming just another PR catastrophe, with Lloyd allegedly watching her not as an asset but as a liability. If these reports are accurate, the individual who once commended for her vision and ferocity is now referring to her as a disaster in private. What's especially intriguing about this entire circumstance is how Zegler keeps landing prominent positions, despite the persistent criticism following, distancing Disney fans by making fun of beloved characters, and are reportedly at odds lately with one of the most reputable, most up-and-coming stars. Directors would have disappeared during casting calls, but in some way, Zegler continues to land big gigs. Is she truly resilient, or is she just, some detractors advise, just failing? There appears to be a disconnect above between business executives who maintain making her the center of attention and the public who is obviously becoming weary of the scandal around her. The media's presence has changed significantly in tone that used to be unrepentant assurance. There are currently a lot more believe that she is being overly defensive. There are long captions about her on posts. Eva Perón's creative approach and how much implies to her, but viewers aren't purchasing when they observe a famous person in dire need, attempting to improve her reputation instead of concentrating on the Snow White artwork. The uproar wasn't limited to her remarks regarding love and the Prince Act. The initial impression was noteworthy criticism of the movie's treatment of the dwarfs, who were perceived by many people troublesome rather than the seven dwarfs. The remake included elements from the original. Among magical creatures, one token dwarf, which several people criticized as an eraser instead of compared to inclusion. One critic noted, "In fact, you simply traveled backwards. Actually just removed the part about dwarfism of it, the handicap, as though we're a disabilities group, which you just deleted." People also objected to the entire event, what they thought the movie's harsh political messaging, that some viewers expressed dissatisfaction over how leftist in all political spheres, class, sexual politics, and race, the original fairy tales or politics. According to reports, themes of real love were diluted or eliminated completely with detractors. So apparently, according to them, I asked. And as stated by Snow's authors, white ladies have no desire to be in, no longer love. When Zegler got the Evita role rather than going after it with modesty, considering her recent, she released controversies that numerous characterized as a self-satisfied press statement in a lengthy piece on how the role had influenced. Since she was young, this was seen as many people, particularly in theater, as tone-deaf. People who doubted her qualifications for such a famous part. Jamie Lloyd's. At first, the Evita resurgence was greeted with Lloyd's eagerness has developed his reputation on reimagined gritty performances that give new life to famous programs when he declared a emotionally unadulterated, stripped-down version of. Fans of the Evita theater were fascinated, but the casting of Zegler totally changed the energy surrounding the production, what was intended to be a forceful, contemporary take on. According to reports, Eva Perón has become a Lloyd's once collaborative PR nightmare. The rehearsal space is said to have turned into disputed, with the director's notes being disregarded and facilitating conversations turning into disputes. The irony is, this was going to be his striking project, his return, and his idea of updating Evita to appeal to a younger audience. Instead, celebrities are defining it. Drama and attempts to minimize damage. Professionals in theater have empathy for Lloyd's role. Overseeing a high-profile manufacturing is difficult, sufficient without needing to oversee an The lead performer is said to be challenging, although others doubt his casting judgment. Someone with such recent baggage. Did he really not realize the extent of the damage? Zegler adopted Snow White's reputation. Or did he purposefully stir up controversy? For publicity, the issue now goes further. Beyond only distinctions in style casual, theater patrons are reluctant to buy tickets when they aren't certain. By opening night, who will be playing Evita? Every fresh rumor regarding Zegler could. Losing a job increases the uncertainty. According to one insider, this concert was anticipated to be the most popular of the "we're trying to break this season." Even as all of this drama plays out, inquiries concerning Zegler's career trajectory continue if she is taken out of. Will Hollywood finally quit using Evita, forcing her into prominent positions, or will she manages to acquire another prominent job? Project, but if she remains, can she give a performance that is sufficiently captivating? In order to reassure doubters, this production was intended to be the pivotal moment in her life, but it's starting to appear more like a rerun of prior disputes regarding the entertainment industry. Frequently rewards controversy with ongoing focus, although it appears that be a cap on the amount of time someone can coast on bad press eventually. Professionalism and talent must explain the Zegler casting choices. Evita stands for that pivotal moment. She either disproves the doubters or either with an amazing performance, or this might be a career's last act, characterized more by disagreement than achievement. The most perplexing feature of this entire story is attempting to recognize how someone who caused such public outrage is still occurring desired parts in Hollywood. There are frequently a careful balancing act between skill and marketability, and in spite of the drawbacks, press Zegler continues to provide headlines with participation on social media. Some, according to industry analysts, in the media environment of today is considerably more nasty. Attention results in visibility, and visibility can be confused with a star authority. Around the time Jamie Lloyd initially declared, he highlighted his vision for Evita, bringing things up to date for the younger generation. Zegler's casting seemed to fit that objective of drawing in a younger audience that might not be attracted to vintage musical theater, although the tactic seems to have disastrously backfired. Instead of increasing the potential audience, alienating regular theatergoers without effectively bringing in new. One thing that's very ironic about the argument surrounding Snow White is that it presents Zegler as a difficult person. Old stories, but her reported conduct during the Evita rehearsals, requesting attention and refusing to harmonize with others, reflects the essence of the diva stereotypes found in contemporary productions. Attempting to overcome it results in a discrepancy between her public image and as an innovative force in the entertainment industry and the reality behind the scenes. Explained the timing of this by insiders. There is no greater dispute for the opening night for the production. June 2025 is quickly coming, and there is not much time to make the necessary corrections. If Lloyd is serious about replacing her, this size of a theater production usually involves months of practice, and introducing a fresh lead at this late stage, the procedure would be logistically difficult, costly, and ongoing. Zegler, in the face of growing unfavorable publicity and supposedly challenging behavior, carries a unique set of dangers. As numerous theater veterans have noted, that this type of drama before the opening isn't a whole new Broadway, and the history of the West End is rich with backstage last-minute casting alterations, disagreements, and problematic productions that manage to come together by opening night. The current distinction is social media's exaggeration of all reports and rumors, producing a spectacle for the people that was previously limited to industry rumors. Financial factors probably have an important part of any judgments that are made. The London Palladium's next Evita is a substantial investment. Producers find themselves in a challenging. Zegler's post would be replaced by extra expenses and maybe legal issues, but keeping her could mean, if tickets are available, playing to half-empty houses. Sales don't increase. The stakes are enormous. Gamble in any case, but it began simply. Casting news has changed into anything Substantially more extensive discussion regarding responsibility in entertainment, discrepancy between industry decisions, producers, viewers, and whether